Hey everyone, how's it going? I don't think I need much introduction at this point, but just in case, weirdly, this is the first video you've ever seen on this channel, my name is Aaron Knoll. I have been a longtime member and contributor to this channel. I still can't say that it's my channel because technically it's Matt's email, and it just feels weird to take ownership of somebody else's email. So I'm a contributor to the channel. And currently, for a lot of you, someone who has something to answer for. And in the year of our Lord 2025, let's answer those questions and cut right to the chase. I made a promise to bring back movie Battleground that was never fulfilled. In November of 2023, we took an early holiday hiatus because I was feeling a strong bout of burnout. We had been running a tournament that hadn't been going the best production wise, and I kind of just I needed a break. It is now January 2025. I think I had a break. For what it's worth, I've not been doing nothing. Over the last year, I've been working behind the scenes to adjust movie Battleground. Part of the burnout was that I had come to the conclusion that the show in its current format wasn't working anymore. When the shows relaunched back in 2020 into 2021, having people participate in a 90-minute plus recording, usually closer to 2 hours, that saw people watching anywhere from 6 to 10 movies as prep beforehand for 4 questions of debate, if not more, if they were doing well and competing for the title on a regular basis. It didn't work in a post-COVID world. It made sense when we relaunched the show. A lot of people had jobs where they had the ability to work from home. A lot of people had an aggressive, active involvement in this community, and it was something that people were willing and wanting to dedicate their time to. Over the years, as things advanced, as the world recovered from COVID, we went back to the way things were. I think certain lessons and adjustments were taken in the world from COVID, but a lot of it just kind of has gone back to the way it was before. And I would say the thing that actively fueled a lot of involvement in this community, the Movie Trivia Schmodown, has since come to an end. Obviously, it's been over for a while now, and there's still a lot of people that like to hang out and talk and participate and do different things, and it's not a full excuse, but I would say that there was a shift in how actively involved some people were before it ended to after. Because I think just having this thing that we all enjoyed together, fueling our participation in these different types of shows and games, losing that catalyst, I think, did affect some people. It is what it is, right? It's the same thing as like, back in the day when people would become friends over TV shows, and then when those shows would end, it has an effect on you. So that is what it is. As time went on, there were more and more production difficulties with Battleground. People were dropping out of recordings last minute for very fair reasons, right? Whether it be their real world schedule didn't line up with what we had planned for recording anymore, or because of their real world, interruptions, they felt underprepared for the match and they weren't prepared to go on a 90-minute plus recording and embarrass themselves because they didn't feel prepared. And again, that's fair. Some competitors even stepped away from the game completely. And there were more who were set to prior to the hiatus because they felt like they couldn't give the show the preparation they felt it needed in order for them to perform well. And whether it be a personal thing of just not wanting to show up unprepared, or in some cases it was very graciously a respect to the show of like what we were doing people enjoyed, and I don't want to take a spot from someone who could be better prepared, which is a compliment of the highest order. But it also fucking sucks. Like, that's the honest truth. It sucked as the person running the show to deal with that. I hated it. I hated people feeling like the show became an obligation. An obligation they still enjoyed doing, but it was no longer just the fun that it was when it got started. I think as the competitive nature took over, it did start to wash people out. And that's not what I wanted. Obviously, the competitiveness is good for the show, and the competitiveness has given us some great competitors over the years. I mean, just offhand, obviously, the champion, Amaru, competitive as hell. Pez, great competitor. Henry Sanchez, great competitor. All super competitive guys. Joe Fairley, another former champ. Like, these are the guys at the top that drive that sense of competition, because I think people want to beat the best. But I think it went so far that it did affect the way that other people interacted with the show. So it led me to feel like changes needed to be made, because I felt like the show needed to be more accessible. It needed to be more competitor friendly, and frankly, it needed to be more viewer friendly as well. Listen, for a nobody show on YouTube, I was super proud of the amount of views that the episodes would get, because if 50 plus people on a semi-consistent basis were watching our content, that's a benefit to me. I mean, 50 plus people is more competitors, like more than the number of competitors we had. So that meant there were people watching who weren't playing, and that's awesome. But it could be more user friendly, and it could be more viewer friendly. And so that's what we've been doing over the last year, is when I would come back to it, shaping up ideas to change the show. Now, I'm not going to discuss what any of those ideas are. A number of you already know because we've talked about it very casually, but I'm not going to discuss those ideas here because, as we'll get to in a second, it's not my place to discuss that. I do, however, I was able to jot down just a quick list of people I want to thank for their involvement in adjusting and discussing the show. People like Chad Webb, Noah McCausland, Austin Howell, Jacob Barber, Papa West, Kevin Poss, Madi or Raymond, Will Cohen, John Marr, Jake Tato, JPO, Richie Goodacre was in one of the meetings. Amaru was involved, Jay Burns, and probably some more people that I'm failing to remember off the top of the brain right now. A good number of people in this community had the interest and the passion to want to sit in on these meetings when I had them and discuss ideas and hear ideas and be a part of testing these ideas. And for that, I thank them, because, again, it motivates you to want to make something exist when there's that many people that want it to be around. However, the real reason why the show hasn't come back is because a different problem arose in my life. For those of you who know, for basically the entire duration of my second tenure running the show, I worked as a substitute teacher as my day job. I had a second job that I had at night, but I worked as a substitute teacher. And that job awarded me with this great opportunity to have a job with all this downtime. Because anyone who's ever been in a school in the US knows that outside of babysitting and making sure worksheets get passed out, substitutes don't often get very much to do. And so I was awarded with essentially paid free time to work on Movie Battleground. And it made it easy to do as much as I wanted to do. It made it easier. It made it easy to do as much as I wanted to do. It was so much so that really the only thing I had to do in my free time outside of work was record the matches, because I'm not that stupid. I'm not going to try and record a debate match while I'm at work. That's just stupid. However, without going into Florida school politics, working as a substitute teacher wasn't something I could continue to do uh, due to systematic issues with the way that excuse me, systematic issues with the way that it's all set up down here. Schools started hiring their own full-time in-house subs, and they weren't using the employment systems as much to bring in subs. And I could not commit to employment at a school because I'm still a college student. Uh, and I can't guarantee 5 days a week to one job because I need that flexibility both for other things in my personal life related to my family and for school. I need to have that flexibility of if I have work to get done and I need a day to get it done, I need to have that flexibility. And that's what being a sub gave me. And I'm glad that I did it for the few years that I did it. It was an awesome job to have, but it no longer became sustainable. So I made a change and I went back to a job that, while I have a lot of other luxuries working where I do, I don't have the luxury of doing Movie Battleground at work, which meant that the show became something that I had to fully encompass in my free time. And that's when it kind of hit me that the show wasn't a priority to me. Everything that I had done in trying to adjust the show and prepare the show and bring the show back was because people externally were motivating me to keep it alive. But when it came down to it, anything else in my life, be it time with my family, time with my friends, watching movies, working on other YouTube related stuff, it just appealed to me more than doing Movie Battleground did. Uh, and I think I just kind of reached a point where, I think 6.5 years in two separate periods is what I spent working on Movie Battleground, not counting the last year where on and off I've done stuff with people involved with the show. I think I just kind of reached a point where no matter how much I love the show and I love the part of my life that it's been, I couldn't do it anymore. That said, Movie Battleground is still alive. I realize that sounds counter to everything I've just said, but the show is still alive. The video would be titled differently if it wasn't. So with that said, I'm proud to announce that after working with a particular individual for months of discussions on the show, and having spent the last few weeks discussing with him on how a takeover would work, I am proud to name the community's favorite vegetable, which sounds like more of an insult than it is, Jake Tato, as the new showrunner, so to speak, of Movie Battleground. Like I said, he has been an active piece of working with the show and adjusting the show in the last year. And we've already had multiple discussions about how if he were to take over the relaunch, it fits into his schedule and it's something that he could easily do. And very, very much he is carrying a fire and a passion that I had 3 years ago that I don't have anymore. He's also in the same position that I was in a few years ago when we restarted all this, which is having the ability to fit the show naturally into his schedule, which is a serious luxury. And frankly, as someone who has openly admitted in the past that I had a hard time letting the show go and handing it over, I couldn't be happier to let Jake take charge. If anyone here watching this doesn't happen to know Jake, I don't know how you wouldn't, because he's one of the most social people in this community I've ever met. He's a great guy, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know him over the last few years, but also in the context of the game, watching him become possibly the most improved player in the show's history. From his debut all the way to where he is now, if you watch his most recent matches, he competed so often that he became a genuine staple of the show. And he's good. And he understands internally, I think, what works about the show and what doesn't, because he has been such a big part of it. And so I'm happy to, so to speak, pass the keys of the car to him. and let him take it for a spin. I'll still be around, both as a competitor, because I think I'll enjoy that a little more at this point now that I'm not running it, and as an aide for Jake, for when he needs it. But, nothing against anyone who was involved 4 years ago. I think maybe because I'm older and I'm more mature as a person now, I feel much more comfortable and much safer handing the show off to someone than I did then. And I'm truly excited to see what Jake does. That said, more specific information on the return of Movie Battleground will be coming soon from Jake himself. I have an idea of what he's going to say publicly, but it's not my place to say it. It's his now. So congrats, you guys escaped long paragraph Facebook posts with updates from the show from me. Now it's his problem. Have fun. But the video is not over. So let's get to the shit that no one cares about. The plan for TMG Entertainment was for it to always be a channel that had more than just Movie Battleground. I mean, hence the name, TMG Entertainment. We wanted to do different things. And over the years, various people, including myself and Matt Beer, and who are some of the names? Maddie Graham, Nikki Sullivan has done stuff on the channel, Evan DeGraff, like way back in the day. So many people have done different types and pieces of content over the years and led their own shows, so to speak. So we want to bring that back. We want to have different types of content on the channel. And again, it's not under the guise of any of this is going to take off. It's just, I want this to be a place where if someone wants to do something, we could invite them in to do that. Because I think that's a cool thing to have. I lost my train of thought. So let's keep going. For starters, separate from YouTube, I have launched an Instagram page for the channel. I'll put it up on the page here, TMG Reviews, which I had to name it because apparently there's way more people that have taken the name TMG on Instagram than I could count. But with that said, TMG Reviews is the name of the Instagram page that I've launched. This will partly be for promotional stuff for the channel. I'll be posting stuff, things like updates on shows and stuff like that to the channel. But it's also a place for me to try and consistently post movie reviews. I love discussing movies. I love talking about movies, and literally every movie that I see, I can't just bring to a YouTube video. A while ago, I did try doing the video YouTube movie review thing, and it didn't work for me. I don't think I have the schedule to do it. And I also feel like when I talk like this, I get very ranty, hence why this is an 18-minute video already. So we got to finish this shit up because no one's going to be watching at this point. But yeah, so TMG Reviews is the name of the Instagram channel, Instagram page. Follow me there. It's public. You don't have to request it. Just follow it. And hopefully I'll get started to posting some stuff on there because, just to post movies that I've been watching and make it a hub to discuss films because I find that fun. Secondly, let's get into content for the YouTube channel. First things first, we'll be bringing back the show Battleground Casual. For those of you who have never seen an episode of it, Battleground Casual was a podcast-style show where we discuss movies instead of debating them. Taking the personalities from in and around Movie Battleground and talking about the latest movies, movie news, and other different types of topics in the movie world. Previously, the show was dropped simply because I was overcommitting myself, and Movie Battleground obviously was the main interest for people, so something had to go. But I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed having a platform to just bring people on and talk about movies. So we're going to bring that back. And the plan right now is to have both myself and Matt Beer once again be on it as regularly as possible, with the other spots kind of rotating between different people in the community. Separately, Papa West, longtime piece of the channel, has been doing Papa's Game Night which will be moving over to TMG Entertainment. Through our Facebook page, which is also TMG Entertainment, if you're not a part of it, Jacob or Papa will post signups every other week for game nights on a Saturday night where he will be playing a digital equivalent of a board game or a quiz game or something like that. It's a variation of a type of content that we had done previously in the past, but rather than it just being movie focused, simply Papa's got everything. I mean, as this video's uploading, the most previous Saturday, he did a Wikipedia, a trivia game based off of information you can source from Wikipedia, which I wasn't in the actual video, but I played it with him after the fact. And there's so much random shit in there, and it's a lot of fun. Battleground Casual and Papa's Game Nights will both air on Saturday nights. They will air on alternating weeks. So we just had a Papa's Game Night, which does mean, unless something goes horrifically wrong, the first episode of Battleground Casual will stream live this upcoming Saturday night, with Papa's Game Night happening the week after, so on and so forth. Papa and Tato will also be continuing their show that they're doing currently on the channel, TMG Takes the Field, the only piece of content that's really been uploaded consistently this year. A weekly show where these two great gentlemen discuss sports, although I've been told that it's mainly just football. I think they continue to say sports, but I think it's just mainly football. I can't speak to that myself. But if anybody ever needs a representative of real football, hit me up, because I know that. And finally, the show that I have been doing episodes of for the last year that I have finally settled on a proper name for, TMG's The Rundown, which takes the mold of previous shows like the Top 10 show and sees myself and a guest or two count down the top 11 of a given topic. Why top 11? Because the Top 10 show used 10, and our good buddy Malcolm Lay has used 12. So I'll take 11 right in the middle. Over the last year, I've been consistently recording episodes for the show, most of which are very out of date referentially, but the conversations are just as good as they were when we recorded it. And all of those episodes I still have the footage of, and they will be uploaded over the course of the first few months of this year, with me mixing in some more recent episodes as well pertaining to releases coming out. Pertaining to releases that are coming out. I think that's it. Content's coming back. Jake Tato taking over Movie Battleground. There's an Instagram page, TMG Reviews, TMG_reviews. And hopefully we can consistently have multiple shows going up on the channel to give people something to watch. Not that there's a shortage of anything to watch on YouTube, but really this is more just self-serving for those of us that like to do things, instead of just hanging out on calls that no one has to see. We're just going to record the shit and, watch it if you like. I don't know if I can possibly ramble any more than I already have during this. If you for some reason missed this, thank you. I do want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone that has continued to reach out over the last year. I mean it when I say it, even if it's not me bringing Movie Battleground back. Finding a way to make this work has been purely motivated because the interest was still so high and people cared so much. And even as I talk about how sad it made me that people wanted to stop doing the show because they felt they couldn't prepare to the level they felt the show needed, that is a compliment of the highest order. Like I said, I spent 6.5 years of my life doing this. It started out as something I did as a teenager who had a lot of, social anxieties in person and was struggling to make friends. And I'm stepping away, probably forever, but at the very least for the insurmountable foreseeable future. As a guy in his 20s who's in a much better place emotionally, a much better place mentally, and am happy to have met all the great people I've met over the years. So please reach out, congratulate Jake for taking over Movie Battleground, and wish him the best on getting it back up and running. More information coming soon. And thank you. My name is Aaron Canola. and I will see you sooner than the last time I made a video. Bye.